So I think the reason people squander time is they don't understand the downside. If I told you, you and me, man, in 50 years, I'm going to be 86, you're going to be, how old are you?
33. That's
33?
83. Yeah.
All right, so you're going to be 83 and I'm going to be 86, all right? I'm going to take weekends off in this metaphor. I'm not really, but in this metaphor. And we're both going to get 0.1% better per day, okay? And we're going to start investing. We're going to earn 0.1% more money per day for the next 50 years. I'm going to take weekends off. You're going to work the weekends. You're going to work every week. You're going to have $84 million and I'm going to have $439,000. So you're going to have 191 times the wealth that I have. And that works for health, wealth, and love. That works for all goals.
Before we dive back into today's conversation, I want to share something important. This episode includes a paid partnership with BetterHelp, a platform designed to make starting therapy easier. I know from my own journey as a leader and entrepreneur that life can sometimes feel overwhelming. There are seasons where stress, uncertainty, and pressure build up, and you need a safe space to process it all. That's where therapy comes in. Therapy isn't only for people facing clinical challenges. It's a space to reflect, grow, and find better ways to manage stress, relationships, and personal goals. It takes courage to seek help, but it's also one of the smartest investments you can make in your mental and emotional well-being. That's why I'm proud to highlight BetterHelp. With BetterHelp, you simply fill out a short questionnaire and get matched with a credentialed therapist in just a couple of days. If the first match doesn't feel like the right fit, you can easily switch therapists at no extra cost until you find someone who truly connects with you. Inside the platform, you'll also find tools like journaling and group sessions on different topics that can support your growth. And with over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 Trustpilot rating, BetterHelp is a platform you can rely on. So if you feel like you'd benefit from talking to a therapist, visit betterhelp.com/King Dems. That's betterhelp.com/King Dems to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Once again, this is a paid partnership with BetterHelp, and I encourage you to take that first step if you've been thinking about it. Sometimes the best investment you can make is in yourself.
Welcome to the King Dems Podcast, where we share the stories of extraordinary people and dissect hot, relevant topics that shape our world. From visionary leaders to trailblazing creatives, we uncover the mindset, strategy, and grit behind greatness. Whether it's business, culture, or personal growth, we ask the real questions. This isn't just conversation, it's transformation. The King Dems Podcast. Your next breakthrough starts here.
Music licensing reimagined.
We're live, ladies and gentlemen. You're once again welcome to the King Dems Podcast. And today, I've got with me coming back for the hot trick, fighting out of Boston, United States of America. Make welcome, Alan, the next level university hero, Lazaros. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the intense introduction and you and I talked about gratitude. I'm grateful to be here, man. I'm honored.
Gratitude is good attitude. I always say that. And of course, when a person shares their time with you, they share their life with you because the SI unit for measuring life is time. Whoa. So welcome back to the King Dems Podcast, proudly ranked in the global top 2.5% on ListenNotes. So today's conversation is about two things every leader, entrepreneur, and dream chaser struggles with: time management and mental health. These two
Nice.
are connected more than most people think, and I couldn't think of a better person to unpack this with me than my brother from another mother from Massachusetts, the co-founder of Next Level University, global top 100 podcaster and coach, Alan Lazaros. Alan, welcome back to the show.
Time management, baby. Time management.
Yeah, they say time is life.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll open with this. If you are fortunate enough to live to 100 years, that is 100 years times 365 days. That's 36,500 days. When I give speeches at high schools, colleges, I gave a training to a group of 300 students last week. I said, if you had $36,500 in a bank account and you could never make another dollar, how carefully would you invest that money? So as of right now, I have 16 minutes and 57 seconds on this podcast. I am always tracking my time on my Apple Watch and or my iPhone. Time is life. You only have 3 resources in life. You have time, you have effort, and you have money. And the most important on there is time. Where you put your time and effort will determine how much money you earn, and how much money you earn and where you invest it will determine how much money you earn. So it's time, effort, and money. That's the only 3 resources any of us have. And we all have 168 hours in a week. If you sleep 8 hours a day, that's 56 hours per week. that you sleep. 8 times 7 is 56. And if you do 168 minus 56, you get 112 waking hours per week. So assuming you sleep well and consistently and you average 8 hours of sleep, you get 112 hours per week. 52 weeks a year, 520 weeks per decade. The average life expectancy in the US, and I live in the US, so I'll use those stats, is 80 for women, 79 for men. And it's increasing, fortunately, but all you have is time, and you can spend your time building or enjoying. And what I try to teach people is, what if you enjoyed building? So building is you are taking the present moment to add value to others and build yourself, build the family, build the business, build something of value. So you're building or you're enjoying, but syntax matters. Some people build to enjoy, other people enjoy to build. Syntax matters. And so building is, I'm going to invest the now for a brighter tomorrow. That's me. I tend to be on the builder side. And so it's a percentage. I try to do probably 90% building, 10% enjoying. But I also enjoy building. So there's a way to integrate them. So is it building first for you, or is it enjoying first for you? Because if you want to enjoy first and you don't like to build, you're probably not going to achieve very large goals. And I used to be bashful about this. I used to not talk about this. But if you have big goals and dreams, you better learn how to build, and you better start building quick. People who achieve their goals and dreams are very future oriented, and they usually invest the now for a brighter tomorrow. They don't usually focus on quality of life. And ironically, the people who have the highest quality of life are usually the people that are willing to build more in the present at the expense of quality of life. And then 10, 20, 30 years later, you see them. I have a mentor who is a multi-millionaire. He was the CEO and COO of several different billion-dollar tech companies. And now he flies to the Bahamas private. He, bought a house without even going inside of it. He has literally millions of dollars, and he's an investor. But the first 30 years of his career were grinding. And if you saw his life now, you'd say, oh, that must be nice. But what you don't realize is that his quality of life, he drove a Toyota back in the day. So it's just really important to understand that. And I think that unfortunately, social media makes it seem like you can enjoy now and build and achieve huge goals without a ton of effort, which is just wildly untrue.
Wildly untrue. Quick one. So I really appreciate you talking about the syntax. And of course, I talk about in communication, content and context are very, very important, right? Making it sync. Enjoy to build and build to enjoy. Now I see why a lot of people think of me as unconventional or as a weird person. Because when I think about the percentages, I think it's a 50-50 for me personally. I enjoy to build, and I also build to enjoy. And
Nice.
I found that equilibrium of both, because really, genuinely, I enjoy building. I think about building this podcast, for example, when we are speaking right now, it's ranked global top 2.5%. And I think about the fact that I started November 18, 2023. You are a global top 100 podcaster, and you know what it takes to build a podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is less than 2 years, and I'm already in the global rankings. It makes more sense to me when I look at people who actually started way beyond me, but before me rather. And when I see the rankings, I see the kind of podcasts that are on the same pedestal as me. All of them started before me. And when it wasn't making the money it's making now, like a lot of people were sort of discouraging me, telling me, oh, why are you keeping at doing something that is not yielding something, right? But for me, I was enjoying the process. I still enjoy the process. And now that is bringing returns, I enjoy the returns. So for me, it's, well balanced. I enjoy the process, and I also do the process to enjoy. But, back to time. Most people mismanage that gift of time. Why? Because you share that sentiment with me that the SI unit for measuring life is time. But why would people waste their time? Is it because they don't know that time is life? I don't know.
There's a book by Lucius Seneca. It's one of the Roman Stoics called On the Shortness of Life. And it's a pretty intense read, but it basically talks about much we squander time. And you even mentioned 50-50 there. So let's just do the numbers of that. So assuming you sleep an average of 8 hours per night, you have 112 hours a week. If you do 50, divide that by 2, 112 divided by 2 is 56. So that means you're working 56 hours a week. You're building 56 hours a week. So most people think of full-time as 40 hours. If you have 112 waking hours per week and you're only building 40 of them, I think you're in some trouble. And I'll explain why. If you want to build your physique, so fitness, how long does that take per day? If you want to build your intimate relationship, how long does that take per day? If you want to build a business, how long does that take per day? And so why do people squander time? The truth, I think, unfortunately, and I'm a computer engineer, and if you listen to the past episodes, you'll already know this, but everything in my mind is numbers. And if you take $1 and you put it in a financial calculator and you grow it by 0.1% per day for 50 years, that's 50 times 365. You end up with $84 million. It's 83 something, so I round it up. And if someone takes weekends off, it's only 260 days a year. So 52 weeks a year times 5 is 260. 260 times 50. And if you do this, you can do this in a financial calculator. If you do it in ChatGPT, make sure you correct it because ChatGPT is wonky with numbers. But go to Google, look up a financial calculator, put $1 in it, and grow it by 0.1%, 0.1% per day for 50 years. It's $84 million. If you take weekends off, brother, and you don't get better on the weekends, you just coast, it's only $439,000. So someone who works and builds every day versus someone who doesn't, it's not even close. To answer your original question of why do people squander time, I think that we just don't understand what's possible. 10 years ago, I got in a car accident. I was 26 years old and I faced sort of mortality. My dad died in a car when he was 28 and that was 10 years ago. And I faced mortality and I was like, you know what? I have wasted so much time and effort. Now, I didn't waste it all, right? I got good grades. I got a computer engineering degree. I got my master's in business. I was very successful in corporate. But the amount of time and effort that I squandered on persons, places, things, and ideas that I will never get back is insane. And so I made a promise to myself, Alan, never again will you waste time and effort. And what you realize is that when you invest your time and effort every single day on getting a little smarter, a little stronger, a little better speaker, a little better communicator, a little bit better of a business owner, it compounds. So I think the reason people squander time is they don't understand the downside. If I told you, you and me, man, in 50 years, I'm going to be 86, you're going to be, how old are you?
33.
33.
That's 83. Yeah.
All right. So you're going to be 83 and I'm going to be 86. All right. I'm going to take weekends off in this metaphor. I'm not really, but in this metaphor. And we're both going to get 0.1% better per day. Okay. And we're going to start investing. We're going to earn 0.1% more money per day for the next 50 years. I'm going to take weekends off. You're going to work the weekends. You're going to work every week. You're going to have $84 million and I'm going to have $439,000. So you're going to have 191 times the wealth that I have. And that works for health, wealth, and love. That works for all goals. It's the math. You can literally Google this. It's the math. But people are like, well, I don't want to work every day. Listen, you don't have to work all day every day. 0.1% better is not that hard. Do you think you can get 0.1% stronger today?
Absolutely.
If you go to the gym? Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, I weaponize consistency. Consistency is a weapon.
Nice. And do you think you can get 0.1% smarter?
Absolutely.
Do you think you can get 0.1% better of a communicator?
That's simple.
Yeah. And this is why I believe so deeply in coaching and books and training programs and investing in yourself. The wealthiest people on earth are investors. They invest today for a bigger, better, brighter tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
When Jeff Bezos went in 1994 to investors and he was going to give away equity for $20,000, they said, "What's the internet?" And he said, "Well, the internet is this place where you connect with other people globally on what's called the World Wide Web." And he's explaining it. And now he owns 8.6% of Amazon.com, which is a company that's worth $2.44 trillion. I researched this last week. So he has a $250 billion net worth. Now, that does not mean he has $250 billion in his bank account. Okay, it means he owns 8.6% of a $2.44 trillion company. So if the company were to go out of business, he would have $0. But the point is, Jeff Bezos in 1994, which was 31 years ago, was just a regular guy. A regular guy with a really big dream, who's really intelligent, who saw a trend. He saw that the internet was growing at a ridiculous rate, and he decided to create and sell books online. And I think that that's what we all have the opportunity to do, whether it's starting a podcast or building a company. I think it's the little, small, daily disciplines, showing up when you don't want to every single day, and
Improvement over time.
Time management. Yep. Time management is every unit of time is to just get a little better, a little smarter, a little stronger, a little more effective, a little more skilled. And when you do that over time, it's unbelievable. Last piece. I started this habit called Facebook Memory of the Day. So you're 33, I'm 36. So you remember Facebook when it was just college kids, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I just pulled up a photo of me from 13 years ago. I'll show it on YouTube. 13 years ago. This is me driving to Los Angeles, and I wanted to work in show business. That was when I was 20 years old. So 13 years ago, 23. I was 23 years old. And 13 years ago, everything is similar and different. Let me explain. So 13 times 365, I've had 4,745 days since then to invest. So where did I put those 4,745 days? Did I get a little stronger? Did I get a little smarter? And back then I wanted to work in show business. I actually had an interview at SpaceX, actually, which was an interesting thing because SpaceX is headquartered in California. And I lived in LA for like 3.5 months. I came home for some family stuff. My dreams are still there, but they look very different. I've evolved, I've adapted, I've changed. So the only wrong answer is to not have goals. Goals force you to use each unit of time. If I had no goals, brother, I would have no urgency. If I have no urgency, I would have no necessity. If I have no necessity, if you have no goals, when you wake up in the morning, you don't even know what to do. Imagine if Michael Phelps' coach was like, "Yeah, man, just jump in the pool, swim around."
It's called freewheeling optimism. When I was a strategy class, to become a chartered accountant, the guy who was teaching us said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right?
100%.
But we don't realize that failing to plan is a plan on its own because it's actually a plan to fail. So you really can't blame the guys who don't have a plan because they actually have set that plan to fail already.
Yeah.
So that is also a goal on its own. But, coming back to the whole time management thing, right? So let's link it with mental health. High achievers, they feel every hour of the day, but stress, anxiety, and of course, burnouts tend to creep in. So you are a coach, you coach entrepreneurs globally. So how does poor time management impact mental health?
The first thing to understand is it's a conscious choice. So I'll share this with everybody. I was an achiever by nature. And when I wasn't focused on my goals, I would have anxiety. And to me, in order to get out of anxiety, I would need to get my butt in gear. Because there's something called opportunity cost. If you sit around for the next 3 weeks and don't accomplish anything, don't do anything, you have no idea how much less your future just got. It's called opportunity cost. It's like what I talked about earlier about taking weekends off versus working and building in the weekends. Doesn't mean you have to work 12-hour days every weekend. The point is you compound. opportunity cost is your future gets smaller if you don't invest today. So I had a lot of anxiety associated with not building. So I think a lot of people do, and they try to escape it. So for me, my escape was alcohol. So back in the day, I would have these dreams that are pulling me. I would have these huge dreams that are just pulling me. They're calling me. They're saying, Alan, you can do this. My highest self was like, Alan, get it together, man. You can do this. Let's go. Get off your ass. That's my highest self. Okay, some people have a less intense highest self.
Alter ego.
You know it. But instead of listening to that voice, I would drink and it would turn off. So if I took like 4 or 5 shots right now, my inner voice, my calling, my highest self would turn off, and it would turn off for like a couple hours. But then the next day it would turn back on, and it would say, hey, now not only am I louder, but now you're behind even more. Now,
and that can be drowning.
It's not good, man. So at the end of the day, I think when it comes to mental health, you got to figure out what your calling is. Do you have anxiety because you're not going to the gym and you're not keeping the promises to yourself and you know you're capable of more and you're not following through? Because if so, then you need to learn how to align with that calling. Or are you overwhelmed on the other side where you've bitten off more than you can chew and you're grinding every day and you don't have any R&R and you're a struggle bus? So I like 80-20. I think 80% building, 20% intentional recovery. Some people are overtraining and they go to the gym too much and they're doing 3 hours a day and they need to rest and recover. But most people are undertraining. All right.
So I want to pick your brain on the recovery side, and what a great way to like segue into the fact that we now have a new brand partnership with BetterHelp, right?
Mm-hmm.
And BetterHelp is the world's leading online therapy brand. So what are your thoughts, on therapy, especially online therapy, and how it helps with, mental health recovery?
Unbelievable. So my beautiful girlfriend and future wife has a company called Evolve Ventures, and I also coach her business partner, Bianca. I've been coaching her for 6 years. I also have a therapist named Carol. So she's trauma certified. My girlfriend, the other one, does CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. I am the biggest proponent of therapy. I think coaching and therapy are two sides of the same coin.
Heads or tails?
Yeah. So therapy is more about learning from the past and healing from the past and working on yourself. I think coaching is much more externally driven, goals, dreams, systems, structure oriented. Yeah. Therapists also coach, and coaches also do therapy. But ultimately, I'm for it. I think it's really good. And I think the world desperately needs to work on their mental health. I think the world, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Physical health is the most important, in my opinion. Mental health is next. Emotional health is third, and spiritual is fourth. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. If you are physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually fit, you're going to be a powerful human being. So I have a therapist. Her name's Carol. I've been doing therapy for 3 years. It has been amazing and brutal because I had a particularly challenging childhood, but I'm all for it, man. And thank you again for having me. I do get a jump because of time management.
Speaking of amazing, amazing and brutal, you have actually been amazing on the podcast today. Brutal, we've had to work within a time crunch. And of course, to my audience, check out Alan's work at Next Level University. Remember, therapy is a tool, not a weakness. Explore BetterHelp via betterhelp.com/King Dems. Thank you very much, brother. Love and respect to you. And of course, till you come again for episode 4 in our series. God bless you. And of course, guys, go conceive, believe, and achieve. Do take good care of yourselves. Bye.